Imagine this. It's the winter of 1966. You live in upstate New York, and the greatest storm in its history has paralyzed the area with up to 8.5 feet of snow. 201 people are dead. 31 froze to death. 46 died in fires trying to keep their homes warm. Others dead from heart attacks while shoveling or from traffic accidents on the slick roads. The storm lasted 4.5 days, and in its aftermath, almost in shock, you walk through your neighborhood trying to absorb the enormity of just what the hell happened. Soon you'll return to your favorite chair by the radio. There, a fire will be lit. And as always, you'll flip between your two favorite stations, WBTA Batavia and WKBW Buffalo. AM radio is the king of news, and it will tell you not only of the dramatic rescues and tragic deaths of the storm, but of murder, the Vietnam War, the race against the Commies to space, celebrity deaths, battles between Republicans and Democrats, and the Catholic Church and divorce. You remember the relatively innocent times of the 50s, and as you switch on the radio, you wonder just what is happening to the world and what will the future bring.
WKBW Pulse Beat News.
At 11:46, it's 20 degrees in Buffalo. This is Jim Fagan reporting. The great stone face is dead. Deadpan comic Buster Keaton dead at the age of 70. Lung cancer took the comic at his Hollywood home today. The career of the comedian stretched from the silent movies to the electronic world of television. Keaton, well known as the great stone face during his 17 years as a top film star, enjoyed a comeback in the last decade after several years of inactivity. He's best remembered for his silent screen trademarks, a sad, motionless face, and a thin, flat hat. Buster Keaton dead at the age of 70. Road conditions throughout western New York at this hour, status quo. Pretty much the same situation as earlier this morning. Residents advised to stay put. Motorists alerted to the fact there is no through traffic being permitted in several western New York counties. Henry Brock has an update on the road situation at this hour. Take 3.
Here in the Queen City, all main streets are open. They're slippery in spots. Some side streets are open to traffic. Some are being plowed. Others are still impassable. Conditions should improve as the day wears on. In Erie County, main roads in the county mostly open, but travel is restricted and caution is advised. Most secondary roads are closed. They are snow-clogged and impassable. Route 75 between Langford and Collins Center is closed. Route 239 between Alden and Colesville is closed. Transit Road to Route 20A in Orchard Park, one-lane traffic restricted. The lane is in poor shape. Sheriff's Department requests that it not be used unless absolutely necessary. In Niagara County, only road open is Route 31. All others are impassable. Genesee County, routes 5, 20, and 33 open east from Batavia to local traffic only. No through traffic allowed. Chautauqua County, most main roads open. Icy and visibility poor at times. Road 17 closed from Mayville to Westfield. Some secondary roads are still closed. In Orleans County, all roads are closed. No vehicular traffic. In Allegheny County, all main roads open. Route 243 and 19 closed at the intersection due to blowing snow. All secondary roads snow-clogged and closed. In Cattaraugus County, most main roads are open. Secondary roads are closed. Route 219 closed from Ellicottville north. Route 353 is closed from Snyder's Corners to Dayton. In Monroe County, roads open to within a radius of 2 miles of the city of Rochester city limits. Then everything is closed. Livingston County, all roads closed. No travel of any kind. Wyoming County, all roads closed. Some local travel. No through travel as yet. And one more report from Erie County. Center Road, south of East Aurora, is blocked by huge drifts. Resident called to report that homeowners there are starting to run out of food. On the New York State Thruway, from New York City line to Schenectady, including the New England and Berkshire sections, generally clear. Schenectady to Buffalo, the road is closed due to storm conditions. Buffalo to the Pennsylvania state line, including the Niagara section, blowing snow. The road is icy in spots. And now back to Jim Fagan.
Trailways buses report snow buses operating into or out of Genesee County today. As to the airport situation, a spokesman at Greater Buffalo International told KB News.
Right now our weather is down to 3/4 of a mile on visibility.
But there is no problem in landing or takeoffs.
Well, we had the airport closed for a few minutes, but it is open now for both landing and takeoff. It was down for just landings at one time.
Trains experiencing delays today. A spokesman for the New York Central told KB News director Tony DeHaro.
Trains are running, but they're running slow.
Is this in every direction?
In both directions, yes.
How slow are they running, say?
Well, they're a couple hours late.
Where seems to be the big bottleneck, sir?
Syracuse.
Syracuse is still the big bottleneck?
That's right. 54 inches of snow up there with 8 to 10 inches more coming.
A spokesman for the local weather bureau revealed a new storm is building in the nation's southwest at the moment and poses a new threat to the western New York area as it continues to move in a northeasterly direction. Meanwhile, the spokesman indicated the winds would subside by this afternoon over western New York, thereby easing considerably the threat of blowing, drifting snow now plaguing most western New York highways. Here in the city, a 3-month-old baby girl was pronounced dead on arrival at emergency hospital this morning after being found unconscious in her crib in her parents' seaside home. Police identify the infant as Rhonda Callahan of 128 Herman Street. Police were unable to question the baby's mother. And a 25-year-old Buffalo man, Henry Scott of 289 Myrtle, will be arraigned this afternoon on a charge of first-degree murder in the fatal beating of 35-year-old Walter Alexander of the same address. Downtown, the Democratic reapportionment plan, as was expected, was presented this morning in the Board of Supervisors chamber in County Hall by the Democratic minority, but Republicans were absent conspicuously. Only 3 GOP supervisors were in attendance. The session this morning brought charges of Republican ramrodding by the Democratic minority. Their spokesman, Democratic supervisor from Grand Island, Ray Griffin. The Democrats at the moment caucusing as to what their next move will be. At Cape Kennedy, federal space agencies now say America's first unmanned Apollo moonship will be launched as early as February 22nd with a powerful new Saturn 1B rocket. It will be the first Apollo spaceflight in America's drive to send 3 men to the moon by 1969. The initial unmanned vehicle will be hurled 280 miles into space, then rammed back into the Earth's atmosphere in a test of the heat shield. A recovery force will be waiting in the South Atlantic Ocean. The official KB weather eye forecast for this hour: cloudy, snow flurries, drizzle today, a high in the mid-20s. Intermittent light snow tonight with a low between 15 and 20. Snow tapering off to flurries, becoming windy and colder tomorrow. The barometric pressure at 29.92 and steady. Winds from the west-southwest at 16 miles an hour. Humidity at 90%. And the present temperature at 20 degrees. This has been Jim Fagan reporting.
Repeating, the K-Big story of the moment.
Buster Keaton, dead at 70.
When you see news in the making, call 884-5107. KB News awards $15.20 for the best news tip of the week.
Take that coffee break and enjoy the music of the Fred Klestine Show.
At Fillmore 33231, if you're a traveler and want to be aboard one of those trains. Okay, Al, do you have anything more, or should I take it right up to noon with these cancellations, or what do you have up there?
You may do anything, but you're a little hard desires.
All righty. The 2 trains will be halted then in Batavia at noon, one eastbound and one westbound, and if you're a traveler, you're asked to call Civil Defense Office, Fillmore 33231. Lead reports, Sylvania's second shift canceled for today. Listen to WBTA later today about the schedule for tomorrow. But the second shift at Sylvania canceled for today. Sylvania Medina warehouse plant also canceled. Reinhardt's Market is open today. Men's and women's bowling leagues at the Moose Club will not be held tonight. The dancing classes at the Leanna Hausler School of Dance have been canceled for today. The Turkey Kitchen restaurant is open. Dave's Coinomatic Laundry on West Main Street will be open until 7 o'clock tonight. Reserve unit of Batavia Drill scheduled for tonight has been canceled. The Falconets meeting scheduled for tonight has been canceled. The Expectant Mothers class that were to have started tomorrow at St. Jerome's Hospital have been postponed until next Wednesday, February the 9th at 2 p.m. on the 4th floor of the hospital. Norm's House of Flowers is open and delivering. The travel log schedule for the YWCA has been canceled. I understand that was for Hawaii. Not really. Healthy Selfie Laundry will be open. The Youth Bureau tutoring program at St. James and St. Anthony's Church have been canceled. The Empire Livestock Market auction at Caledonia has been canceled. It's tremendous to have these cancellations actually typed up. Yesterday, you recall how we were working from handwriting. So
Jim Garrity does good work, Jim.
That's right. There'll be no garbage pickups today in Batavia. The collector is unable to reach the disposal grounds outside the city. Repeat, no garbage collections today in Batavia. You know, it's really frustrating to look out in your back lawn and not be able to see where your garbage can was, you know, and you kind of have to shovel a path out there.
On a clear day, you can see forever. On a snowy day, you can't even see your garbage can.
That's right, and be sure to locate that fire hydrant and remove the snow from around the hydrants because of the danger of fire. Should a fire arise, the firemen have to find where the fire plugs are to put out the fire. So shovel a path to your fire hydrant. Administrator Ira M. Gates said this morning that most city streets are open, but some narrow streets remain closed because special equipment is needed to open them. These include Edward, Thorpe, Wired, and others. A loader will be dispatched as soon as possible to work on the narrow streets. There will be no second or third shift today at the Leroy Machine Shop. All employees should report on Wednesday at Leroy Machine. Tonight's meeting of the Batavia VFW Auxiliary is canceled. The Classic Bowling League at Mancuso Lanes tonight is canceled. Tomorrow morning's United Nations panel discussion at the Batavia YWCA is postponed until February the 9th at 10 p.m. The Boy Scout District meeting for tonight at the State School for the Blind canceled. School closings, they're all closed. And office and administration buildings will be closed tomorrow morning. Employees are requested to listen to WBTA for further word on the office closings this afternoon. The Batavia Cooperative Nursery School at the YWCA closed tomorrow. The Roy Central School and Holy Family School in the Roy are closed. Well, all schools are closed for that matter. Richmond Memorial Library is open today for you bookworms. And Owens, Illinois Brockport will resume operations at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Attica Lanes are open today for the people in Attica. Yale and Town, Eaton Yale and Town second shift canceled for today. And we have had later word on Dolder Jarvis that they are open. Dolder Jarvis is open, operating second and third shifts. All personnel are requested to attempt to go to work. An important notice to employees of the Lap Insulator Company in Leroy. The plant is open today. The parking lot is clear and Gilbert Street has been plowed. Many workers are needed to keep the things going down there at Lap Insulator. Repeat, Lap Insulator is open. Employees should report if they can get to work. Mr. Randolph, the president, announces that the Batavia Trailers Incorporated at the Industrial Center is closed today. Kissel Die Casting in Batavia. Employees should come to work today if they can make it. The Alexander Firemen's Band practice tonight has been canceled. The band will meet next Tuesday. Murray's Food Store in Leroy is open today. The city buses are running. The Rotary Club meeting for this noon has been canceled. The Dairyman's Firemen's Bingo Party tonight is canceled. Dynamic Components plant in the Industrial Center in Batavia is closed today. Varco's Barber Shop is open. Alexander Exempt Firemen's meeting has been postponed until next Tuesday. The Tuesday night Ladies League of Allegheny Lanes in Corfu canceled for tonight. No Trailway buses leaving Batavia today. No Trailway buses leaving Batavia today. The Surprise Department Store opened today. The VFW Auxiliary will not meet tonight. The meeting will be held on the 15th of February. Canales Restaurant is open. The Gebhardt Disposal Service announces no pickup of trash tomorrow in Alexander or Attica. The F.E. Mason & Sons plant announces that their employees are not to report for work at noon. The plant will resume normal operations tomorrow. The Social Security office in Batavia is closed. Any first shift workers who can make it are asked to report at Graham Manufacturing. The Ritz-Craft Industry is closed today. The Batavia Machine and Tool Company is open today. Sylvania Warehouse in Medina is closed. The Attica Westinghouse plant announces that the molding, core room, and shipping room will not work this morning. Normal operations are to resume with the second shift. The Union Steel Chest in Leroy is closed but will reopen tomorrow. The Watka Milk Products plant is operating and will remain in operation. Employees of the Value Discount Store are asked to report this morning. P.W. Miner & Son Shoe Factory is closed today. Owens, Illinois in Brockport resumes operations at 3 tomorrow afternoon. The Tybon Hard Chrome first shift workers are asked to report if possible. Frontier Molders at the Industrial Center closed today. Rubberoid Company in Caledonia, workers in the mine and the board plants and mill should not report today. Today's first shift at General Electric in Brockport is canceled. R.E. Chapin's first shift reporting today. It's operating. The Montgomery Ward store in Batavia is open. All employees should report for work. And the First Baptist Men's Fellowship will not meet this evening. W.T. Grant's is open today. The Vine Street Barbershop is open today. The Tuesday night second shift bowling league at the Attica Lanes is canceled. The Town and Country Garden Club of Leroy will not meet tonight. The YMCA is closed today. The Town and Country Garden Club of Leroy will not meet tonight. How about that? The Genesee County Bar and Hotel Association meeting, canceled for today, will meet next week. Claimants for unemployment are excused from reporting today. Please do not report today, but report whenever you can this week. The Carroll Milk Hauling Company asks that farmers plow out their driveways so that the trucks can pick up the milk. The B&R Market in Leroy is open today. Slate's Bookstore, Star Market open. St. Paul's Lutheran Church dinner has been canceled for tonight. Will be held on Tuesday. There's quite a few cancellations. There you go, Al.
Thank you, Chuck. Time now for 5 minutes of world and national news brought to you by the Protein Corporation. From Rome, Vatican Radio says today's UN Security Council meeting holds hope for peace negotiations on Vietnam. Saigon. U.S. warplanes struck in communist North Vietnam again today, but poor weather prevented assessment of damages. Washington. President Johnson is expected to ask Congress for more than $3.25 billion in new foreign aid funds. Greek crewmen are preparing to abandon a sinking Liberian freighter about 1,000 miles northwest of Honolulu, Hawaii. And from Hollywood, comedian Buster Keaton died in Hollywood at the age of 70. Those and other stories right after this message. For homes in the suburbs or in the country, for all homes beyond the reach of city gas mains, the modern fuel for automatic cooking and water heating is propane bottled gas. It's the thrifty fuel that brings new ease and convenience, and it's available from Propane Gas Service at 655 Ellicott Street in Batavia. Cooking with propane bottled gas is so clean, so fast. With a modern automatic gas range, your roasting, baking, and top burner cooking will hit a new peak of perfection. And you know, you can use propane bottled gas for clothes drying, for automatic water heating too. Propane bottled gas has already proved itself in many homes in this community. See Propane Gas Service, 655 Ellicott Street, for propane bottled gas service. It's the finest. Well, the U.S. has proposed that North Vietnam be invited to take part in UN discussions on a conference to seek peace in Vietnam. The United States proposal came as the UN Security Council discussed the Vietnamese question at U.S. request. It proposed that South Vietnam also be invited to UN discussions. Vatican Radio says today's meeting of the UN Security Council is comforting and is reason to hope for peace negotiations on Vietnam. The radio comment also said that despite the resumption of U.S. bombings in North Vietnam, there is hope that Pope Paul's proposal for UN arbitration of the conflict is still valid. The Security Council meeting, called at the request of the U.S., is taking up a proposal for preparatory talks to set up a Vietnam peace conference. The U.S. resolution recommends that the first order of business be arrangements for a ceasefire under effective supervision. No details have been released yet about results of the second day of renewed U.S. bombing raids on communist North Vietnam. A spokesman in Saigon said that port facilities in Ban Thuy were struck by Air Force planes. Ban Thuy is the harbor for the coastal city of Binh. He said poor weather prevented detailed assessment of the damages. In South Vietnam, a combined Allied operation about 290 miles northeast of Saigon is smashed from three sides at a large Viet Cong force. The communists are said to be retreating. Communist China has lodged a strong protest with Britain against what the Reds call its offer of Hong Kong as a base of operations for the United States to expand its war of aggression against Vietnam. The protest was handed to the ranking British diplomat in Peiping. North Vietnam is quoted as declaring it will consider any resolutions that the UN Security Council might adopt with respect to Vietnam to be invalid. The Soviet news agency TASS reported North Vietnam's position, repeating that North Vietnam is quoted as declaring it will consider any resolutions that the UN Security Council might adopt with respect to Vietnam to be invalid. More news after this message. Relax. Forget the problems of soot-leaving fuels. Forget the high cost of fuel bills. In fact, just forget about all of your fuel problems. Let the propane gas service at 655 Ellicott Street handle your needs. We'll supply you with safe, dependable propane bottled gas. And then, like so many rural and suburban families who have learned about this added convenience, you'll enjoy all the advantages of gas appliances wherever you live. Be wise, investigate. All it takes is one quick trip out to the propane gas service on Ellicott Street, right across from Sylvania, and tell the experts what you need and let them advise what's best for you, which naturally will be that wonderfully convenient propane gas service. You'll be thrilled, too, with the convenient terms that will arrange to fit your budget. So be ready for a really warm winter indoors wherever you live, thanks to that great propane gas service located at 655 Ellicott Street. Phone FI3-9460 for all the details, and do it soon. The famed comedian of the silent movies, Buster Keaton, is dead. He died of lung cancer at his home in the Hollywood suburb of Woodland Hills. He was 70 years of age. His wife of 25 years was at his side when death came. Keaton's trademark was a deadpan expression. He was in show business nearly all of his life, starting as a child. In recent years, he had had some occasional movie and television work. This World News was brought to you today by the Propane Gas Corporation at 655 Ellicott Street in Batavia, serving the fueling needs of all of western New York. The WBTA time now is 10 minutes after 12. It's time now for Our Changing World, and we'll give you Earl Nightingale in just one moment after we give you the weather forecast. The weather forecast, and we should have a revised weather forecast coming up, incidentally. The weather forecast is calling for diminishing winds, changeable skies, snow flurries today. The high today will be in the mid-20s. It'll be overcast with a period of snow developing again tonight. Low 15 to 20 degrees. Snow tapering off to flurries, windy and colder tomorrow. Gusty westerly winds, 15 to 30 miles per hour. They'll subside and become variable 5 to 10 for a while this afternoon. Easterly winds, 15 to 30 miles per hour late tonight and again on Wednesday. Presently, it's about 21 degrees in Batavia. Chuck, do you have something for us?
I have late cancellation here. The Mary Lou Underhill dance classes scheduled for today in Attica have been canceled. The Lane Drug Store in the Easttown Plaza is open and will remain open until 9 p.m. Doler Jarvis will operate second and third shifts. All personnel are requested to try to get to work. Ed Howard says the retail trading classes will not be held tonight, however. George's Dairy is open.
It's time now for Our Changing World, and here's Earl Nightingale, brought to you today by the Genesee Savings and Loan Association.
Thank you. For several days, I've been talking about happiness and passing along to you some of the surefire formulas for achieving this state which man has said to be seeking for, these many years. Well, I think we've had about enough about happiness, so today let me give you some tips on how to be miserable. And don't laugh. There are literally millions of people who wouldn't trade their daily misery for all the gold in the world. You may know some of them. In fact, if you know 10 people, you probably know several of them. This may be an exaggeration, and it may not, too. The first step to real professional-type, solid, unremitting misery is to get all wrapped up in yourself and your problems, real or imagined. Become a kind of island, surrounded on every side by yourself. By turning all of your thoughts inward upon yourself, you can naturally not spend much or any time thinking of others and other things. And so finally the outside world, the real world, will disappear into a kind of Hitchcock-type fog. You'll know the world is there because every once in a while you bump into it. But for the most part it will be murky and indistinguishable. And it's right here that you have to understand an important but little-known fact. The type of person who turns inward upon himself doesn't have much in the wisdom department, or he'd never do it. And as a result, he doesn't have much to turn inward upon. He finds a kind of vacuum. So he must then invent things. And he invents things like the world is against him, which is the worst possible kind of conceit. The world isn't against him. It doesn't even know he exists. And as a result, it ignores him completely. So since this person doesn't get much attention from this attitude, he tries to get attention through various other means. One is to hunt for illnesses of various kinds. If you look long enough, and it doesn't take long, you can find symptoms of any condition or disease known to man, and some that are unknown, ranging from yaws to rabies. With your newfound illness, you've got something with which you hope to make everyone else as miserable as you are. So you tell them about it. They don't want to hear about it, but you tell them anyway. And you watch for signs of sympathy. And at first you get them. So you think you've got it made, and you keep this up with new and interesting medical problems. You wake up every morning feeling rotten, and you let the world know about it. But soon you detect a change. People begin to walk away as you approach. They don't want to hear your deadly recitation anymore. Even your family turns an uninterested deaf ear to your protestations of being on the brink of a slow and painful death. Well, this makes you angry. So childlike, you cry out that nobody cares whether you live or die, and by this time you're pretty close to the truth. So the bitterness deepens, the misery thickens, and you draw farther and farther back into your cave, shouting imprecations at the world, throwing an occasional stone at a passerby, and in general, making a complete ass of yourself. Well, there you have it. One of the best and most common formulas for being miserable, and making those around you miserable as well. And it all starts with becoming too wrapped up in yourself, feeling that you're important somehow. I'll be back in 1 minute.
If you want your savings to earn the most, come save along with us.
You'll find the interest growing,
and it's convenience plus.
Yes, save where your money earns the most. Genesee County Savings and Loan Association, now paying 4 1/4% interest on savings accounts. Savings account holders at Genesee County Savings and Loan Association are now receiving their quarterly dividend at the rate of 4 1/4%. This high interest rate will be paid on all savings accounts at Genesee County Savings and Loan Association. Save for the future, where your money earns the highest rate allowed, 4 1/4%. Save at Genesee County Savings and Loan Association, leading the way to a better future. That's Genesee County Savings and Loan Association, now paying 4 1/4%, 112 Main Street in Batavia.
Start saving today.
Samuel Johnson wrote, "Many of our miseries are merely comparative. We're often made unhappy not by the presence of any real evil, but by the absence of some fictitious good. And a Hindu proverb says, the miserable are very talkative. And they are, aren't they?" This is Earl Nightingale. Thank you.
Listen again tomorrow at the same time for Our Changing World with Earl Nightingale.
W K B W Pulse Beat News.
At 12:15, it's 21 degrees in Buffalo. Residents in western New York are still being advised to stay off the roads and highways, as many areas still report all streets impassable. There is no through traffic permitted in Genesee, Livingston, and Wyoming counties. In Buffalo, most streets have been treated, but the roadways are slippery. Patricia Kennedy Lawford has ended her marriage to movie star Peter Lawford with an Idaho quickie divorce. The sister of the late President Kennedy had been married to Lawford for 11 years. The United States said today that it continued the bombing lull in North Vietnam for more than a month after it directly informed Hanoi that reciprocal action could lead to peace. Ambassador Arthur Goldberg told the UN Security Council that despite all efforts, there is not a single sign from Hanoi or Peking that they have shared our desire. The official KB Weather Eye forecast for this hour, overcast with intermittent light snow developing tonight, low temperatures between 15 and 20, snow tapering off to flurries, becoming windy and colder tomorrow. The high temperature around 20, variable winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming easterly this evening, increasing to 15 to 30 miles an hour tonight, backing to northerly tomorrow. Caution advised against hazardous driving conditions developing late tonight with blowing, drifting snow. Currently, the barometer falling from 29.90, the winds from the southwest at 14, the relative humidity 90%, our temperature 21 degrees. This has been Tony DeHarrow reporting.
For a complete pictorial report of the day's news, watch Channel 7. For news when it happens, from where it happens, it's KB Pulse Beat News at 15 and 45.
Now for Rod Roddy and KB Music.
Hey, Janet. Hey, CC Riders, see what you have done. It is 20 minutes after the hour, 12 o'clock noon, on the Rod Roddy radio show from KB in Buffalo, New York. We got all kinds of road reports. I guess you've heard them before. We'll be pouring them out over the air here before. The weather forecast calls for cloudy weather. We have a new weather forecast coming in, so I'll hang on to that and give it to you a bit later. It's 20 degrees currently outside, and the traffic is moving rather slow. Watch out for those side streets coming in from the airport. a while ago. It took us a long time to get in because we were trying to avoid a traffic jam. We got in some side streets and almost got struck. It's pretty deep out there. As a matter of fact, it's pretty deep in here, but it's not the same kind. It's 20 minutes after the hour. It's not the same kind of snow job. 20 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock, or 1 minute after. What am I? Oh, I'm still on this kind of. We're on Eastern Standard Time, right? Change time so many times going around here and there. It's 21 minutes after 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard. Got it? Beautiful. Be here till 3 o'clock on the Rowdy Thing. Hope you will be. From WKBW. 1520 on your radio dial, Buffalo, New York.
Your cooperation is needed in this regard so that the best possible 4-Hers will represent Genesee County this year. We are pleased to announce our plans for the 4-H tractor program for 1966. The Genesee County 4-H tractor program will be conducted in Genesee County this year on the evenings of February 28th, March 7th, 14th, 21, and 28th. These are all Monday evenings. The program this year will be divided into 4 groups. The first year will be getting acquainted with tractors. The second year will be assuring safe, efficient operation. The third year will be improving your skills. And the fourth year will be machinery care projects. The following farm machinery dealers will be cooperating with the 4-H tractor program in Genesee County this year: Morley Farm Equipment of Bergen, F.B. Winkstern and Son of Oakfield, Tri-County Farm Equipment of Batavia, and Batavia Farm Equipment also of Batavia. The program is open to boys and girls in Genesee County who are 12 to 19 years of age. The meetings will rotate between the cooperating farm equipment dealers, and the meetings will begin at 7:30 p.m. in the evening and end at 9:30 p.m. And we certainly appreciate the cooperation of these farm equipment dealers with our program. The livestock meeting, which was scheduled for last night, January 31st, for the Farm and Home Center, as you know, was canceled, and it will be rescheduled early in March. The exact date we will announce later, but the regular livestock meeting will be held on February 24th. So the January program will be rescheduled for early March, but the regular meeting will go on as scheduled on February 24th, the 4th Thursday in February.
Today's program, featuring Lang E. Kennedy, the 4-H Club agent in Genesee County, was presented by the Cooperative Extension in Genesee County. Listen each day, Monday through Friday, at 6:10 a.m. and again at 12:15 p.m. for news of interest to all area residents in the Tri-County area. Would you like to see your dairy herd make hundreds of extra dollars this year? Start by seeing Batavia Agway right now. He can show you what to do with a corn growing plan that cuts your cost of producing milk. Cuts it by as much as 10 cents per hundredweight. Combine good corn silage with good hay in Agway 1520 milker pelts, and you've got extra money in your pocket. It's Agway's answer to high production costs. Produce the silage by following the Agway 120 Plus Corn program. It's worth trying. It's time now for the New York State Weather Summary and Forecast, presented every Monday through Friday at this time by Ebling Electric, 1315 Jackson Street in Batavia, your electrical gift shop. Across the state, in weather news today, winds diminished somewhat during the night, with temperatures holding in the teens and the lower 20s in most sections. Some light snow and snow flurries continued, but mostly in the northern and western sections. There was light accumulation, considerable blowing, and drifting also was reported. This morning's weather map shows high pressure over the Dakotas and Manitoba and eastward through the Great Lakes region. The system will remain generally stationary for the next day or so. Low pressure over eastern Oklahoma is expected to move east to Kentucky and West Virginia this afternoon, with another low developing along the Carolina coast. Usually the coastal low takes over and the storm moves out to sea. Therefore, the precipitation is expected to move only into southern sections of New York State, and let's hope they're right on that. There's really a great demand now for color television, and some people have been experiencing trouble in finding the right color television set for them. Well, for these people, here's really good news from Ebling Electric, 1315 Jackson Street. Eblings has just received a large shipment of RCA, Emerson, and DuPont color television sets. Eblings has a good selection, but hurry before they're all picked over and you don't have a good choice. Color is here to stay, so these sets will move fast. Eblings also has RCA's very popular Braniff combination radio and stereo phonograph. And don't forget that Eblings is your electrical headquarters for small appliances and gifts too. For all your electrical needs, head for Ebling Electric, 1315 Jackson Street in Batavia, your electrical gift shop. Turning now to the weather. A new storm is piling up snow across the nation's midsection this morning. At dawn, the storm was centered over Arkansas, headed for the snow-packed mid-Atlantic states. 4 inches of new snow was reported through much of the area, through eastern Kansas to northern Kentucky in some 6 hours. Some places had some more. Emporio, Texas, reported that they had some 5 inches of snow from midnight to dawn. The same hold true in Kansas and through parts of Indiana. And finally, the weather forecast: cloudy with occasional snow flurries or drizzle today. High temperature will be in the middle 20s. Intermittent light snow developing tonight. Low temperature 15 to 20. Snow tapering off to flurries and becoming windy and colder on Wednesday. Variable cloudiness and variable winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, becoming easterly this afternoon and this evening, and then increasing 15 to 30 miles per hour tonight, backing to northerly on Wednesday. And our present temperature reading, 21 degrees. Listen in again tomorrow when your electrical gift shop, Ebling Electric, will again present the latest weather forecast. This is WBTA in Batavia. At Mancuso Motors, they do more than just talk about low prices. They prove it by the price tags on every quality used car on the lot. Not only are the prices low, but you get a great deal when you deal with Mancuso Motors. You can be sure of getting a car in tip-top shape. Each car that Mancuso Motors takes in trade is thoroughly checked and put in perfect running order. And now, during the first of the year sale, prices are even lower than ever. A very sharp 1962 Plymouth Coupe with V8 engine is just $795. Another gem is the 1962 Rambler Classic 4-door with a 6-cylinder engine, and that's priced at just $695. You'd be proud to own the 1965 Chevy Impala 4-door with a V8 engine, power glide, power steering, and power brakes. This was a company official car. These are just a few reasons why it pays to deal with Mancuso Motors on Ellicott Street opposite Court, where they have over 120 used cars from which to choose. It's 12:30 and time for the latest local and regional news, brought to you today by the Wertzman Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street in Batavia. Here with the news, Dick Gamble.
Good afternoon. Here are the headlines. Snowplows are making headway today, cleaning snow mounds from main Genesee County highways, but there's a problem of cars being halted in Erie and Monroe counties where blocked roads remain a problem. Abating winds have helped the weary snow fighters, but the cleanup is far from finished, and motorists should not be impatient. About 200 stranded travelers left Batavia on trains this noon. Others are waiting for cleanup of highways to reclaim their cars. 2 New York Central trains had problems with snow and a tipped truck near Bergen last night, and many stores in Batavia are open again. Factories are gradually resuming operations, but schools are still closed, and things are still moving at half speed.
Sleep in style, sleep on a Sealy mattress. Now on sale at the Wertzman's Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street here in Batavia. Now during Sealy's 85th anniversary sale, you can have the best mattress at the lowest possible price. The extra firm Sealy Quilt Supreme is nationally advertised for $79.50. But during this once-a-year sale, the price is just $49.95. This Supreme mattress is available in both twin and full size. The orthopedic mattress, the Sealy Posturepedic in extra length, is now priced at $79.50. Choose your comfort in an extra firm or gently firm Sealy mattress today. Choose your comfort with a new mattress from Wertzman Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street, where there's always free parking at the rear of the store.
And now here is the news from Batavia. The historic storm that's been paralyzing Genesee and neighboring counties since Sunday was relenting this afternoon, and the outlook has taken a turn for the brighter. Snowplows are gradually punching holes in drifts on main highways, but authorities in neighboring Erie and Monroe counties are discouraging through traffic from Genesee. The Civil Defense Organization has succeeded in providing train transportation for upwards of 200 travelers who have been stranded in Batavia since Sunday. East and westbound trains halted here this noon to take on as many persons as desired to leave. Most had been aboard buses. The trains were due to halt here shortly after noon. Business and industry are gradually resuming after a 3-day halt. Schools remain closed throughout the area. Some firms have only skeleton crews on duties. Others are closed yet, but expected to return to normal operations by Wednesday. WBTA has been announcing the status of factory openings and will continue to do so throughout the day. The most important item this noon is highway conditions. Robert T. Carrier, Genesee County Highway Superintendent, said his crews are slowly reopening most of routes 5, 33, and 20 through the county. But traffic is still discouraged for 2 reasons. The cleanup is far from complete, and those who may be trying to get into Buffalo or Rochester may be stopped at the county line. Authorities in neighboring Monroe and Erie counties want to get their roads open before allowing traffic to enter from Genesee. Mr. Carrier strongly urges local motorists not to attempt to travel the main roads out of Genesee County. You may be halted at the county line or could encounter drifts and delays after entering the neighboring counties. Indications are that town crews are slowly opening sections of the lesser county and town roads in the county, but travel remains hazardous at best. It would be foolhardy to go from home in rural areas unless you are certain the roads to your destination are open. Here in Batavia, most streets are plowed and open, but some narrow and outlying streets are still socked in. Edward T. Kane, Civil Defense Director, announced that New York Central trains, one eastbound and the other headed west, were stopped in Batavia this noon to take those stranded motorists and bus riders who wanted to depart. About 200 were known to be taking advantage of the arrangement. Most were from the 7 Greyhound buses which were stopped by the storm. The Greyhound Bus Company still is not running buses out of Batavia. However, those who are stranded here from the buses are assured that their baggage will be taken care of. Baggage is being shipped to the bus terminals in Buffalo and Rochester and will be held there for owners. Civil Defense is in charge of all such announcements and working with police, fire, and highway authorities is declaring when roads are reopened. Emergency calls of all kinds should be funneled to Civil Defense Headquarters. The telephone number there is 343-3231. Repeating, 343-3231. Here is the latest weather outlook, a vital key to the speed of the storm cleanup. We will get occasional snow flurries or drizzle today as temperature rises to the mid-20s. Intermittent light snow will develop tonight. On Wednesday, the snow will taper to flurries and it will turn colder. And about the all-important winds, they will range from 5 to 15 miles an hour today, but increase and become easterly tonight at speeds of 15 to 30 miles per hour. As the wind subsides, the plows can make headways with the plugged roads. Crews have been working several hours. They are making progress. If the conditions continue to improve, normalcy should come rapidly. Winds kept whacking away this morning but seemed to moderate at midday. We want to emphasize that conditions still are bad. They'll stay that way until crews have a real chance to burrow through the snow without winds to harass them. In Batavia, many stores were back in operation today after closing on Monday. Apparently, there have been no shortages of important foodstuffs. Batavians who find streets open are asked to be wary of some drifting in narrow places. City travel is vastly improved. WBTA has been swamped again with notices of cancellations and postponements. We'll have them on the air as often as humanly possible. Please bear with us. Repeating again, plows are making progress with main roads, but Erie and Monroe County officials are discouraging travel out of Genesee until they get their own house in order. So the big suggestion is not to travel out of the county and to be very sure your own roads are open to the destination before starting out. City Administrator Ira M. Gates this noon had several newsworthy comments and bits of information regarding the storm and the storm cleanup in Batavia. There is no city garbage collection today. The contractor cannot reach his rural disposal area. The landfill on Cedar Street is closed. Mr. Gates said most city streets are open, but problems remain with the narrow routes and in those exposed places. He mentioned Cedar, River, Edward, Thorpe, and Wired as typical of those where plowing is difficult and which may not yet be cleared. He explained that a loader is needed to clean narrow streets and clearance will be made as rapidly as possible. City Public Works equipment has taken a beating. Mechanics from Atho Motors are working on the big snow blower and hope to have it back in operation today. One truck is sidelined at Mancuso Motors for repair. It's been a 24-hour-a-day proposition, and the strain on the machinery is telling, Gates advised. He said the city is seeking to rent plows and loaders to help with the snow cleanup. Gates thanked Eaton, Yale, and Town for use of a big loader. The administrator also sent thanks to the county and town highway department plows, which are clearing back snow as they pass through the city. Two important messages this noon from the New York Telephone Company and the Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation, both related to the storm. Telephone company manager Charles A. Sands asked customers to refrain from using their phones to prevent long delays and tie-ups. We urge householders, and children particularly, not to use the phone except for necessary calls. The great strain on our facilities is slowing important messages of an emergency nature, Sands declared. The thousands of calls have overtaxed the lines, with delays in getting the dial sound resulting. Please use the phone only if necessary. Don't tie up the lines. Give emergency and important calls priority. Niagara Mohawk reports it has received reports of isolated service interruptions. Residents of Byron, Bergen, Pavilion, Elba, Orangeville, York, Rush, Caledonia, and Riga, who have reported power failures, are assured that help is coming. Power crews are en route aided by plows. They'll be there as quickly as humanly possible. If you experience any power interruption, please telephone Niagara Mohawk in Batavia at 343-7100. That number again, 343-7100.
You'll find your preference in bedroom suites at a price you can afford right now during Wertzman's Furniture January clearance. Wertzman's is offering 75 bedroom suites at clearance sale prices in the following styles: modern, early American, contemporary, and provincial. And you should have no trouble finding just the right finish to fit your decor. For example, there are walnut finishes, blonde, maple, cherry, and fruitwood. Now these styles and finishes are products from nationally advertised manufacturers. Your choice for a bedroom suite will end at 309 Ellicott Street. That's Wertzman's Furniture, where the styles, finishes, and prices are right. Right now, during Wertzman's January clearance sale of bedroom suites. Dick?
Here is a local news bulletin from Bergen. Firemen have been summoned to a house fire in Bergen this noon. We have no details on the location or extent of the fire. Trucks are just being dispatched. We'll have details when they become available. Earlier this morning, there was a barn fire at the Kirby Farm in East Albion. Word from Albion indicates that 50 cattle perished on the Kirby Farm at East Albion. An Attica youth who was overcome by carbon fumes in his stalled car was admitted to Genesee Memorial Hospital early today after emergency units spent several hours transporting him over snow-blocked roads. He is Paul Lanarowis, 17, of 2745 Buffalo Road. Aides said he is recovering this noon. A snowblower was used to clear a path to the Buffalo Road where young Lanarowis was found in a car. On Monday, two young men who had been trapped in deep snow on the Jericho Road near Byron finally were rescued and brought to St. Jerome Hospital suffering from exposure. State police with plow help reached the men about 24 hours after the snow halted their car. They are Jack Gillette, 26, of Bergen, and Howard J. Breeze, 24, of Lyons. Both are in satisfactory condition. From Corfu, a 61-year-old town of Pembroke man died early today in Genesee Memorial Hospital. He was Carl O. Peterson, 61, of 714 Main Road. A former Buffalonian, he resided for 9 years in Pembroke and was employed by the Bell Aerial Space Unit in Niagara Falls. Carl Peterson is survived by his wife Mildred, two daughters, Miss Thelma of Buffalo and Mrs. Emil Karsh Jr. of Messina, two sons, Charles and Carl Peterson of Pembroke, and 3 grandchildren. The funeral will be at 2 p.m. Thursday in the C.B. Beach and Son Mortuary, Corfu. Friends may call there Wednesday from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 p.m. Here's a summary of news notes which all listeners will find interesting. The Batavia Post Office is delivering letter mail today in the city, but there are no deliveries on rural routes served by the Batavia Post Office. City residents who get no mail delivery because of snow conditions may claim mail at the post office between 3:30 and 5 this afternoon. Batavia City buses are operating today, and city taxi cabs have resumed service. There are no Trailways buses running out of Batavia today. A reminder from the telephone company, if you don't hear the dial tone as you pick up the telephone today, please wait for it because of the storm. That's an item that we had before. At noon today, the New York Central Railroad reported passenger trains operating with delays of a few hours from here. Around 11:30 a.m., the eastbound New England State Limited and the westbound Cayuga Limited made stops and picked up a load of passengers. Railroad men could not estimate the number of people boarding the trains, but reported that the station was full of waiting passengers when the trains arrived. All trains are making stops here when there are reports of waiting passengers. As one railroad man put it, we're handling those who have been left stranded by the airlines. Two Chicago-bound trains who were held up at Bergen yesterday were a total of 12 to 14 hours late on their runs, but the delays at Bergen were estimated at around 3 or 4 hours. It was a snowplow stuck on the village crossing at Bergen that delayed the 20th Century, and railroaders said that there was no tractor-trailer overturned as stated in earlier reports last night. And the snowplow didn't tip over, said a railroad informant. It was just stuck in the snow. The other trains delayed at Bergen was the westbound Wolverine. Each train had around 200 passengers, but there was plenty of food aboard and passengers did not suffer.
You'll be surprised how much new carpeting can do for your living room. And you'll be surprised when you find out how low the price is at the Wertzman's Furniture Company at 309 Ellicott Street in Batavia. During Wertzman's January clearance sale, 501 nylon carpeting is regularly priced at $5.95 a square yard. It's slashed during the clearance sale price, only $3.98 a square yard. Regular $269 two-piece living room suites are now only $159. Or if you prefer a sectional, Wertzman's has a foam rubber nylon sectional sofa with 3 pieces for just $157. These sectionals were $269. And to really stretch your furniture dollars, the place to shop is Wertzman's Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street, where you'll find free parking at the rear of the store.
And now back to the news. Funeral arrangements have been completed for 3rd Ward Supervisor William W. Taylor, 48 of 41 Kingsbury Avenue, who died Sunday. The service will take place Thursday at 11 a.m. in St. James Episcopal Church. Friends of Mr. Taylor may call at the H.E. Turner Mortuary this evening from 7 till 9, and on Wednesday from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 p.m. Vanessa Strollo Post VFW and Glen S. Loomis Post American Legion will hold a combined memorial service Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. in the mortuary. Mr. Taylor, an accountant and veteran of World War II, is survived by his wife, a son, 2 daughters, 2 brothers, and a sister. Well, the storm has been giving the stork a bit of trouble in Genesee County and the area, but with the help of plows and emergency crews, expectant mothers have reached local hospitals in plenty of time. At 5:30 this morning, Mrs. Gerald Stella of East Main Road, Leroy, reached St. Jerome Hospital after several hours en route. She gave birth to a baby girl at 9:57 a.m. At the same hospital, Mrs. Lauren Laney of Alexander was escorted from her home on Monday afternoon. Her baby boy was born this morning. At Genesee Memorial Hospital, a plow patrol helped Mrs. Howard F. Mang of the Putnam Settlement Road on Monday, and later she gave birth to a new daughter. Mrs. Craig H. Jones of Akron arrived at shortly after 5 p.m., and her baby boy was born at 6:45 last evening. These are typical of the services being performed by police and firemen and snow fighting crews throughout Genesee County. Here's an important late bulletin from Edward T. Kane, Genesee County Civil Defense Director. Routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania state line. Repeating, routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania state line. Mr. Kane emphasized that stranded motorists headed west may now depart along routes 5 and 33 from Batavia into Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania line. Stranded motorists in havens should stand by. Civil Defense is working to get buses and cars freed. Please do not call Civil Defense. Stranded motorists should stand by. They'll be notified. And we'll repeat the bulletin. Routes 5 and 33 west out of Genesee County are open. 5 and 33 open west through Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania state line. But all travel in any other direction is discouraged. Don't travel any other direction out of Genesee County. Only routes 5 and 33 west are open. The H.E. Turner Mortuary, Byron woman who died at home on Sunday. She was Mrs. Margaret Collister, 73, of the Gillette Road. Her husband, Harry Collister, died in 1963. She was a member of the South Byron Methodist Church and the Philathia class. Survivors include a daughter, Mrs. Gilbert Hoskins of Byron, 5 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Batavia City firemen were pestered by a youngster early this morning who telephoned twice to report a fire on Hart Street. When trucks were sent, it turned out to be a false alarm. Firemen urged parents to warn their children against any such practices. It could have serious consequences in any weather, especially in these conditions. A big pat on the back today for those who've worked so long and hard to combat the storm emergency. Snowplow crews, county, town, city, and village have labored almost without rest since Sunday trying to unplug the roads, and they're still at it. Praise, too, for the volunteer firemen of Genesee County. They are on standby throughout the county waiting to handle calls for fuel and food and cope with other local emergencies. Police, city, state, and sheriff's men have answered dozens of trouble calls around the clock. The Civil Defense Organization has supervised the cleanup tasks. CD leaders are doing all possible to assure no undue hardship. And this includes helping more than 800 stranded motorists who've been sheltered and fed at locations throughout Batavia and the county. Please give firemen a hand, by the way, by clearing snow from around hydrants here in the city. An 18-year-old Bazum youth is one of 6 young men from this area named by Congressman Barbara B. Conable for appointment to the U.S. Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs. He is Kevin Richard Carlisle of 1823 Judge Road, a senior at Oakfield, Alabama Central School. He is the son of Mr. and Mrs. R.C. Carlisle. The 5 other nominees are Raymond Barleben of Hilton, David Cliff of Kent, Jeffrey Gaylord of Retzoff, James Logsden of Holly, and John Mallon of Rochester. The 6 young men will participate in final competitive examinations for congressional appointment to the Air Force Academy from the 37th District. Batavia hospitals on Monday treated 4 more travelers who were hurt, none seriously, in the pileup of cars and trucks on the thruway near Batavia late Sunday afternoon. Released from Genesee Memorial Hospital after treatment were Mrs. John A. Houston of Springville near Torpia of Utica Mrs. John Austin of Springville and Henry Torpia of Utica. Those who came to St. Jerome's yesterday for first aid were John Irvin of Buffalo and Miss Carol Anderson of Rochester. These individuals apparently had been staying in private homes or shelters provided by Civil Defense and had waited until Monday to have medical treatment of minor injuries. Here is a notice from the Stuber Funeral Home in Leroy. The funeral for Lillian Atkins, which was to have been held on Wednesday at 2 p.m., has been changed until Thursday at 2:30 p.m. The funeral for Lillian Atkins in Leroy will take place Thursday at 2:30 p.m. at the Stuber Funeral Home. A Batavian died at 12:30 this morning in Genesee Memorial Hospital. She was Mrs. Nina D. Clapp, 78, of 38 Columbia Avenue. Mrs. Clapp had been hospitalized since 1963. Services are being completed by the H.E. Turner Mortuary. And repeating that bulletin earlier in the newscast, routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania state line. But all travel in any other direction is discouraged. Don't travel any other direction out of Genesee County. Only routes 5 and 33 west are open.
Stretch out, relax. Ah, what a feeling. And you can have this wonderful feeling on a new Sealy mattress, now on sale at the Wertzmann's Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street here in Batavia. Now is the time for the Sealy 85th anniversary sale, and you won't find this much comfort and value or firmness in any other mattress. The firm Golden Classic gives you firm support that's unbeatable at a once-a-year low price. This mattress has an extra heavy decorated print cover and features exclusive edge guards to end sagging borders forever. And the Duro flange keeps the surface smooth and firm. This mattress is made of hundreds of tempered steel coils. Now the price. During Sealy sales, this mattress in full or twin size is priced at just $39.88. Stop over at Wertzmann's Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street, where there's always plenty of free parking at the rear of the store. Nick?
Here's a notice to drivers of westbound Greyhound buses who have been stranded in Batavia by the storm. Civil Defense asked drivers of westbound Greyhound buses to please report to their buses. We repeat, drivers of westbound Greyhounds now halted in Batavia due to the storm, report at once to your buses. Routes 5 and 33 West have been opened, as we said earlier. From Oswego, the worst snowstorm in Oswego's history has stopped after dumping 102 inches of snow on the Lake Ontario city. Mayor Ralph Shapiro has declared the city in a state of emergency and has pleaded for snow fighting equipment. He says food and fuel supplies are running low and the city is without fire protection. Shapiro reports that not one of the city's 87 miles of streets is open. The entire town is paralyzed by the tremendous blanket of snow. The mayor says we are waiting for bulldozers and heavy-duty plows from the county, the state, and other communities to help us. 3 sportsmen owning power snow sleds have helped move 25 fuelless families to churches and schools for shelter. The mayor reached his police headquarters emergency center aboard one of the sleds. Radio stations in the area are broadcasting information as to which food stores have managed to remain open. The storm began Thursday with 86 inches falling through yesterday. Another 16 inches fell during the night before the storm and its accompanying high winds abated this morning.
Well, listen in again tomorrow and every day at this time for the latest news brought to you today through the courtesy of the Wertzman's Furniture Company, 309 Ellicott Street. Tomorrow's news will be presented through the courtesy of the Ryan DeWitt Corporation, your home of happy heating and air conditioning.
No matter what shape your purse is in, there's a used car for you at Atho Motors. Whether it's $100 or $2,000 you have to spend, you'll get more than your money's worth with an Atho A1 used car. Before it's put on the lot, each car is put through a rigid screening test. The car undergoes a complete reconditioning process, including brakes, points, plugs, carburetor, and 5 tires as needed. That's why Atho can place their famous 100% unconditional 30-day guarantee on their used cars. And that's why you can be sure you'll get your money's worth with an Atho A1 used car. Cast aside your budget woes and head out to the Atho used car lot, no matter what shape your purse is in.
This is WBTA in Batavia, 1490 on your radio dial. What do you do when an old heating system that's been giving you years of service and soot and smoke and smell and repair bills? What to do with that old heating system? We suggest you junk it. Now you can afford clean, dependable, economical heat with Pyrofax gas bulk service from the Haywood Sales and Service at 24 Seaver Place. Trouble-free automatic gas central heating for year-round wall-to-wall comfort and convenience. Versatile gas room heaters, too. Pyrofax gas heats better, saves money because Pyrofax gas is quality controlled. Tested against rigid standards of purity to assure hotter and cleaner burning. See you today at Haywood Sales and Service, 24 Seaver Place. The telephone number, Fillmore 3-8030 for details. That telephone number, Fillmore 3-8030 for details of the Pyrofax gas units. The time is 9 minutes past 1 o'clock, and it's time for the Tuesday afternoon Gamby Show. Yes, Gamby once again is not able to make it into work today. I don't know what's wrong with that young fella, but he can't make it in. Of course, the roads, I understand, aren't any too good between Rochester and here. In fact, they're impassable. They're closed is what they are. So if you're driving, don't unless you're heading west out of Batavia on routes 5 and 33. It's open westbound from Genesee County through Buffalo and to the Pennsylvania state line. That's the only 2 major roads that are open out of Batavia. Routes 5 and 20 west from Genesee County into Buffalo and Pennsylvania state line.
check the latest official weather forecast. Cloudy with occasional snow flurries or drizzle today. High temperature reading in the middle 20s. Intermittent light snow developing tonight. Low temperature between 15 and 20. Snow tapering off to flurries and becoming windy and colder on Wednesday. Variable winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, becoming easterly this evening and increasing 15 to 30 miles per hour tonight, backing to northerly on Wednesday. 21 is our present temperature reading, and we have more cancellations flowing into our studio. Thank you, Kathy. We have Johnny's Red Top open today. Day's Floral Shop will be open. And the Boy Scout Troop F at St. James Church is canceling their meeting for tonight. Knights of Columbus Ladies Auxiliary, which was to meet tonight, is canceled. The Rainbow Club Wednesday night supper at the WCA is canceled. Such a pretty song done for you by the Holly Ridge Strings. That's I'll Be Around from the Beach Boys songbook. And we will be around, friends, a while yet, that's for sure. Kay's Floral Shop will be open today, so you people who need flowers, Kay's Floral Shop will be open. 21, our present temperature reading.
Remember, it's always okay to owe Brenner's
the quickest credit at the easiest terms.
From appliances to watches and jewelry too.
Diamond rings and other pretty things so shiny and new.
Buy the greatest brands at Brenner's, it's so easy to do. From $1 down
and just $1 a week.
Shop today at Brenner's.
Keep time on your hands. Let the experts at Brenner's fix up that broken watch. It'll be in perfect running order in 24 hours if you request it. Brenner's has the most modern, efficient equipment, everything that's needed to give you guaranteed service. They also have the most up-to-date engraving equipment in Western New York. Right there at Brenner's. Call today.
For the quickest credit
at the easiest terms.
Shop today at Brenner's.
Yes, indeed. Stop in to see Herb Brenner.
It's always okay to owe Herb Brenner.
That's what we were hoping you would say. 21 is our present temperature reading downtown, and it's 30 seconds past 1:15. Repeating, routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and the Pennsylvania state line. That's route 5 and 33 westbound in the Buffalo and the Pennsylvania state line.
Don't dress up, just come as you are. There's lots of room to park your car. Bigger selection and savings too are waiting right here for you.
If you've been searching for variety and selection, your search is over. The Surprise Department Store at 317 Ellicott Street features variety, savings, and convenience. Whether it's a different style or a difficult size, the Surprise Department Store is sure to have it. Right now, the Surprise Department Store is preparing for new spring merchandise. The store must be cleared of winter articles such as sweaters, regular $12, $13, and $15 values, reduced to $5.98. First quality snowsuits for the children, values to $10.98, now reduced to $2.98. While in the Surprise Department Store, look around. You'll see all first quality nationally advertised brands at clearance prices. Free parking in the front and rear, use the layaway Midland charge plan, and receive free S&H green stamps with every purchase.
Bigger selection and savings too are waiting right here for you.
Surprise Department Store, 317 Ellicott Street, next to Wertzman Furniture.
Just received word that the CL Car Company is closing up shop, and they close things up there tight as a drum at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The CL Car Company is closed. Motorola television from Almeters Appliance, 43 Market Street in Attica, is one thing you can count on. It brings you the true-to-life picture that makes viewing more enjoyable. You'll also enjoy the low price Almeters Appliance store puts on each one. Almeters has a large selection from which to choose. And whether you're in the market for a portable, a table model, or console, you can be sure that the Motorola makes the very best, and that Almeters sells it for the very lowest prices. You can't beat that combination. See the new Motorola today, and see it at Almeters Appliance, 43 Market Street in Attica. Say you Atticans, be sure to sign up for the WBTA Silver Anniversary Celebration at Almeters. It's 26 minutes past 1 o'clock, and we have Steve Lawrence. That's the story of the weekend, and we have some wild weekends here. This weekend's snowstorm that we had Sunday is kind of prolonging the weekend atmosphere because many of the stores are not open and none of the schools are open, so the school kids are getting a real long weekend, that's for sure. It's 28 and a half minutes past 1 o'clock. Yes, Elman.
Hi.
You have anything to add, or you just...
the delivery of the newspapers today.
That's right. I forgot to mention that. The Batavia Daily News will be delivered. The delivery boys, of which Al Jude's young son David is one, will be delivering the newspapers. Al Jude asked that for David Jude, you shovel the sidewalk and the driveways to make it very easy for him, or he'll throw the paper in a snow pile. No, he won't. He'll make an effort to get to homes, but it's not going to be in the normal place unless you do shovel out for the newspaper delivery boys. So have a heart, okay? As they come sliding down the snowbank, give them a cup of chocolate. It's 28 and a half minutes now before 2 o'clock. 21 is our present temperature reading, and the forecasters are calling for cloudy conditions with occasional snow flurries or drizzle today. High temperature in the middle 20s. Intermittent light snow developing tonight. The low temperature between 15 and 20. Snow tapering off to flurries and becoming windy and colder on Wednesday. Variable winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, becoming easterly this evening and increasing 15 to 30 miles per hour tonight, backing to northerly on Wednesday. 21 is our present temperature reading, and we receive word that routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and the Pennsylvania state line. And the sun seems to be making the scene, which makes it nice on snow shovelers. I was up this morning at 7 o'clock shoveling out 2 driveways. We have 2 driveways at my home over on Morton Avenue, and that'll really drain your back muscles shoveling 2 driveways, not one. And I shoveled both driveways, got my car out, got my car moving in and out of my driveway. And then I called Teresa Lundahan here at the station. I said, well, I'm all set to drive to work. She said, don't bother, you can't make it by car to WBTA because our parking lot has not been plowed out, and Seaver Place is pretty wild, friends. So don't travel on Seaver Place or near the WBTA parking lot because, of course, the crews have got to keep the main arteries open. Here's a bulletin from the WBTA newsroom. A man and a girl believed to be a father and daughter have been found dead in a snow-covered automobile near Gainesville in Wyoming County. A woman was found alive in the car, which was stuck in snow. No identification or details were immediately available. The woman was brought to Wyoming County Community Hospital in Warsaw. Here's an important announcement to all residents of the city of Batavia. City Administrator Ira M. Gates appeals to all motorists to stay off city streets unless absolutely necessary. Mr. Gates emphasizes that this carries added importance for the downtown section where the traffic tie-up has become acute. There's no parking room whatsoever downtown, and none of the parking lots have been cleared out. The traffic tie-up downtown is hampering the removal operations of snowbound cars and trucks, and indeed the snow itself. A new convoy has been organized to rescue more than 500 stranded travelers from the service area at Indian Castle near Little Falls. A spokesman for the Thruway has cautioned against any travel except for reasons of dire necessity. He says no routine emergency service such as providing gasoline is being offered along the recently opened stretch. So as far as the Thruway is concerned, the Thruway Authority says the snow-clogged State Thruway has been opened between Schenectady and Syracuse, but you can only get off at Syracuse, Utica, and Herkimer, and of course Schenectady. Spokesman says there's no indication when the Thruway will be fully open. They hope for late tonight. The highway is blocked at Weedsport and Batavia with wind-blown snow still drifting it in. And repeating from Wyoming County, a man and a girl believed to be a father and daughter have been found dead in a snow-covered automobile near Gainesville in Wyoming County. A woman was found alive in the car, which was stuck in snow. No identification or details are available. The woman was brought to Wyoming County Community Hospital in Warsaw. Movie columnist Hedda Hopper, is dead of pneumonia. The 75-year-old writer of gossip about the movie Colony died in Hollywood. In the state headlines today, it has stopped snowing in Oswego, where an avalanche of 102 inches of snow has left the city of 22,000 virtually helpless. A convoy of snow fighting equipment has blasted open the snow-clogged state thruway between Syracuse and Schenectady. A state legislator says a Roman Catholic organization has seemingly declared war on a proposal to broaden the state's 179-year-old divorce law. And the Weather Bureau says intermittent light snow or flurries can be expected throughout the state tonight. Low temperature tonight will be in the teens. It's 11 and a half minutes now before 2 o'clock. Routes 5 and 33 west from Genesee County are clear and open through Buffalo and the Pennsylvania state line. And that word from Genesee County Civil Defense Director Edward T. Kane. The Niagara-Mohawk Power Corporation reports isolated cases of trouble. They wish to announce that service has been curtailed in Byron, Bergen, Pavilion, Elba, Orangeville, York, Rush, Caledonia, and Riga. They're trying to get help through them. A Rochester source says that some 5,000 people in Monroe County are without power today. Niagara-Mohawk will get to the towns of Byron, Bergen, Pavilion, Elba, Orangeville, York, Rush, Caledonia, and Riga just as soon as possible. And if trouble does exist and you're in the Niagara-Mohawk Power District, the business office is open and taking telephone calls at Fillmore 3-7100. Fillmore 3-7100 for trouble calls at Niagara-Mohawk. The Sylvania second shift is canceled for today. Listen to WBTA for later word on work tomorrow.
Looking for a shiny new gadget for your bench? Some good books on electronics, vintage hi-fi, or old radios? Indispensable tools, cleaners, or other products? Check out my new Amazon shop and help the channel. Lots of great products I actually own, use, and recommend, plus my thoughts on each one. Link in the description. To stay updated, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you soon.